My video for October the 13th, 2019 is video number 3235. The title is Sealed Indictments. More wishful thinking? Many people, including a good percentage of my friends, have seen the 100,000 plus sealed indictments as an indicator that the government, through Donald Trump, is going to right at least some of the long history of elite wrongs against the human race. Again, government means mind control. We humans have been controlled for millennia. Somehow our DNA, perhaps the most important parts, were manipulated, turning most of it into junk, or more accurately, totally inaccessible abilities. Without reactivation, I do not see humanity as being able to escape the cruel and bitter scam that has enslaved all of us. When I talk about humanity, I'm talking about a race with many colors and belief systems based on cultural conditioning and a distortion of truth, also known as lies. Without knowing it, we stand under a pervasive fraud. Yes, I would like the Donald to succeed in some of what he promises, but his alliances do not bring a sense of trust or even hope. He aligns himself with some of the worst terrorist states on the planet. My wishful thinking of wanting real change and draining the swamp somehow seem hopeless, producing a sense of despair. Yes, his alliance with a Middle Eastern state that was created in 1948, I guess, or there was remnants of it after the First World War, but it really came into existence after the Second World War. And Saudi Arabia, which is a distortion of the most extreme Muslim beliefs, and the United States. Those three are terrorist nations, as I see it, in that they are warlike nations, especially the United States. And most of what has been operating in the United States is also aligned with that Middle Eastern nation that was created after the Second World War. And most of you probably know full well what nation I'm talking about. And yet many of the people that are on the Trump bandwagon are people that see that state that was created in 1948 as the fulfillment of some kind of biblical prophecy. I don't see it that way because the Messiah or Shiloh hasn't come yet. And it's not supposed to be, everything is not supposed to be fixed until Shiloh comes. Well, will that ever happen? Will Shiloh ever actually come? Will there be a Messiah that comes, that's able to subdue the demonic states and bring them under not trying to control them, but to get the truth out? You know, for me, it's not about controlling anyone. It's about getting to the truth. It's about getting to the bottom line of everything. And of course, the bottom line for many people is about profit. In other words, it's part of the money scam, which has been put in place eons ago to control beings, to control humanity. And again, I emphasize that humanity is a mixture of various races that have come here perhaps from different other places in the galaxy or even in the universe. I don't know that that's true, but it's a potential, it's possible. And we find ourselves here with different color skin. Some people say, well, it has just to do with the climate, that people that live near the equator are darker skinned and people that live near the poles are lighter skinned. Well, there does seem to be some level of truth in that, although it's not it's not an absolute. Are there such things as absolute truths? Love to me is an absolute truth, but we don't find love very easily. In fact, after I made my video with Steve, and after I saw what was happening with Steve, my heart was breaking inside because I'd love to find a partner that I could connect with and be close to and go dancing with and do things with. I'd love to have that in my own personal life, but I don't see that happening. I don't see anything lining up in that direction, which saddens me, producing again that sense of despair I mentioned in the blurb of being hopelessly alone for whatever time it is. The only time that I've ever had a lot of women to choose from was when I inherited money, and all of a sudden women were coming out of the woodwork, and some men, as I've said in other videos, befriending me. And I made some mistakes at that time. I trusted some people perhaps I should not have trusted. But in any case, the distortion created by the monetary system on this planet is horrendous. Many of the crimes committed are crimes based on spouses trying to get the insurance, insuring their partner, and then figuring out a way to kill them and make it look like an accident so that they could get their hands on money. A lot of crime is money motivated. Perhaps all crime is money motivated in our current time. And we've got to get beyond that. And yet the RV, which my friends keep telling me it's any day now, but of course I've been hearing it's any day now for years, and it still hasn't happened. Although there's still a lot of promises that Donald Trump is going to drain the swamp. And again, these sealed indictments that are being talked about again and again are supposedly a lot of criminals that have been operating in the deep state here in the United States. And many of those have dual citizenship with other countries. And again, dual citizenship is forbidden in the original US Constitution, the original 13th Amendment. You can't be aligned with two nations. You have to, if you become an American national, you have to give up any other allegiances or alliances that you've had with other nations. That doesn't mean that your heritage disappears. It just means that you cannot be committed and aligned to two different political entities, if you will. And the political entities, the whole thing is all fraud anyway. It's all a game. Again, it's a game based on money and based on the desire of some people to control other people, a very small minority to control the masses. And they do that through brainwashing. They do that through manipulation of religion. They do that through manipulation of our education systems. They do that through creating wars and creating animosity of one group against another group. This is all insanity. When is it going to end? When are we going to have our codons turned back on so that the distortions that we've had to live with for such a long time as humanity are finally coming to an end, and we can see an end in sight? Can it happen quickly? I believe it can, but it's going to take divine intervention of some sort. And some people see Donald as part of a divine intervention plan, or a holy plan of God somehow, which is why he aligns with the holy nation that is in the Middle East, that I don't even want to put the name out there because it triggers such a reaction by the people that control YouTube and Facebook. And I don't want to keep fighting YouTube and Facebook on videos that have all sorts of issues where I lose viewers. Anyway, folks, I'm doing the best I can. I would like to be able to maintain a positive attitude. I would like to be hopeful that real change is in the works and that we're going to actually be able to experience heaven on earth, at least in its early stages in my lifetime, and for those in the generations after me in their lifetime. Thank you, folks, for listening, and namaste.